Alright, today I have lots to get through, so we'll start off. This morning I got free pizza. I help out at a museum and one local business basically last year gave every one of us that was working there $15 off your bill at this particular pizza place. So I got free breadsticks and 2 large slices of pizza. How awesome was that? So I've already devoured one piece and part of the breadstick, and the rest of it will be for my dinner. So very, very cool there. Next thing, I went to the Goodwill bins last night, and basically I did a lot of talking and conversing with people, talking about crazy Lego things. Bricks and minifigs is in hot water right now because basically one franchise was kind of closing or it was being taken over. Somebody was leaving the business, and then all the inventory got absorbed by the new people there, or something to that effect. But the man who had, well, let's put it this way: you need to watch the video. It was called Crazy Ben or Radical Ben or Outrageous Ben, something like that. I don't remember exactly what it is, but just type in bricks and minifigs and Legos, and you'll find out the bricks and minifigs is in hot water because they essentially. So my friend, she wanted me to look at this video, which I dutifully did, and I spent, I don't know, it was about $6 on a couple CDs. I got Afrotech CD, which I don't like very well, so that'll be getting sold. It just basically 90s, early 2000s techno music added to some African music. It doesn't really do that a service there, so whatever. There's that one there. Picked up 1989 Taylor Swift to either sell or keep or figure out what to do with, but because it sells for about $10 or $15 online, I basically can barely get $5 out of it. We'll see what I want to do with that one there. And then we got friend mail from Jedi Johnny or Johnny Serena. We'll get to that in just a second here. I've opened it up and kind of wasted the envelope already. The other thing I want to talk about is my World Magazine collection update. So without further ado here, we'll get to this one here. Hello, sir. Henry, hope all is well with you. Thank you for sending me a blind trade with all the cool extras. It really wasn't a blind trade, it was a gift, but he wanted to give me some cards. Essentially, he has a new trading card out there, 2026 Johnny Serena card. We did a lot more of that when Topps had them more available to us. So a lot of people are not familiar with some of the apps and other things like that. It might be the same amount, it might be cheaper, it might be more expensive, and all the stats back there. And I suggest that if you want to know more about Johnny, you get this card here. Go Vols. And that came out of Memphis, Tennessee. I basically destroyed the envelope, but these are the stamps, that only ones that survived. They didn't get canceled, but the ones that had rips right across the stamp. I don't particularly care, because as long as the envelope got here in good condition. And he has also sent me in addition to the autographed trading card there for the YouTube Hall of Fame PC. I don't think he's in the Hall of Fame. I can't keep track of these things. But we've got Ron Howard for the 78 Topps football there. I did not have that autographed card there. I could use that in my set there. It's a set build. Anytime I'm doing a set build, rarely, other than the golf, rarely do I ever send off cards because I don't want to have to go back to eBay and spend another $1 or $2 for that card there. You would think he was on the Cowboys, but he's actually on the Seahawks. It's possible he was a Cowboy before he was. It looks like a Cowboys uniform that's been basically converted into a Seahawks uniform. Something like that. It could be Seahawks, but that's that blue there, and it's been just blotted over there. So there's that one. Tiny signature right there. And then we have one from Mike Easler. I have never written to him before, as far as I know. I did not have the 85 Topps, so that's perfect for my collection. Out of the thousands of autographs I had, he got 2 that I did not have. So there's that one there. Then we want to go through my World Magazine collection, but before I do that, I wanted to mention that Triple Play Sports, Sioux Falls, or whatever it is, moved all of their listings from like the year 2021 or so down up to like the 1800s or however far they went back, and they moved them all to Beckett Marketplace. Beckett Marketplace I have open very, very quickly right here, talking a mile a minute, but that's because I want to. So there's Beckett Online Marketplace there, and I'm looking up some cards from 1975 right now. So I have found a couple other vendors that I recognize from eBay, so if you know them from eBay, you're good to go. I can't say about the discounts and the prices and whatever they have there, so it just basically, you just buy the cards that you need and just lose the money. Just lose the money. I don't really care. So there's that one there. Then we want to talk about my World Magazine collection. Hopefully I haven't forgotten anything yet here. But we have National Geographic World. If you haven't seen one of my earliest videos here, I did kind of a stack magazine. So time-lapse photo type thing there. I just took a bazillion photographs, and then since then I have done an update video probably 5-7 years ago, and then what I have done is that I have basically scoured eBay listings, and you can either buy magazines for $5 a piece plus $5 for shipping, so the bottom is about $10 per magazine, which I think is way too much. I bought a bunch of these at the Goodwill outlet / bins. They don't get a lot of magazines in because I think they might actually bundle them up for their whatever, and it's just unfortunate. There's just this is not one of my original ones, and I only had 2 from my original collection. But look at that first video, the music. If people complain about the music, I said, well, that's like 12-13 years ago. I was able to get whatever music I could get, and this was before people really knew how to work YouTube, and so I'm not one of the pioneers, but that particular video I think is really cool. It's got over 1,000 views on it, and so check that one out. But the magazines are $5, and no, they're not, because you go to the dreaded eBay listings here. Here's a lot of miscellaneous magazines for $17.50. That's actually a fair price, but some of these magazines, people are asking. One person had 9 magazines. He wanted $100 and some plus $50 for shipping. If you know how to ship, you don't spend something for $50. I mean, I could ship 9 magazines for $6 or $5, not $50. So he just added a 0 to his shipping, and I don't know if that was done on purpose or it was just a mistake there, but it said $50 for shipping. A lot of people just set it and forget it. So if their listings don't sell, they just don't look at it. Just watch a couple of videos the other day, and somebody had spelled the word thank you wrong or something like that, but they repasted that over and over throughout the video. There's dozens of times where they said thank you or something like that. So it's very weird. Very weird that they had done that. So buyer beware on this 80s, 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s. I am seeing almost no vintage books, magazines, toys, or collectibles. There's always something super damaged or it just, got overlooked. But every collectible, whether it's kids' books, magazines, it doesn't matter. Somebody picked up a Sweet Valley High game at the Goodwill bin store. Not my thing. And I said, oh yeah, those were at every thrift store, dime a dozen, they have no value. But she looked it up on her phone and thought it was worth keeping. So for eBay selling, that's what it was. Everything, all vintage board games are all gone. Regardless of how little that they sell for online, they are all gone in private collections. It's just one of those crazy things. Thanks to Stranger Things, everything from the 80s is now collectible. People do Golden Girls, themed type stuff. People do, and they just, their favorite TV show, and they just collect everything from that. Telephones, you name it, whatever that is. So unfortunately, I'm missing probably like 40. I could be missing 40 to 100 magazines because I got up to like from 1975 to 1989, and then or somewhere between 87 and 89, and then I'm missing a bunch of the 88s and 89s and 90s, 91s, and it goes up to 2000. 12 magazines per year. I've been missing almost 10 years of magazines. That's 120 magazines. Multiply that times $5 or $10 if you're lucky, and that's a lot of money. That's hundreds, if not $1,000+ for magazines that I probably couldn't give away at a yard sale for $0.25 a piece. If they're in the free box, somebody might think about taking them, but don't find National Geographics of any kind. Sometimes you'll find the maps. I haven't seen Geographic magazines like I used to in the old days. The people that originally had them have dumped them all. The collectors out there have basically hoarded them all, or they're just throwing them online for selling. It's just absolutely a weird time there. We talk about bubble bursting, and I'm so sick of every video out there. That's the one thing I quickly want to talk about. Every video, is the PSA bubble going to burst? Is the card market going to burst? Is this going to burst? And I'm just going to tell you, it just isn't. Because of shipping and other factors out there, the lack of being able to find it as easy for like the tiny little prices that it used to be, it's just going to be there. It's just going to be high price city. People after COVID left up all their listings on COMC, left the insane zany prices there and never removed them. Some of the people just said, okay, we're not doing any sales on COMC, we're just leaving them all full price. So there's a lot of that stuff going on and having to figure out and trick and whatever do. And then, the advent of the $25 photographs, so I don't do photograph collections anymore. It's rare that I've been able to get anything. Maybe one time a year I'll pick out something, 2 times a year. And it just on and on and on. I don't need that stuff, but every time that you see something different in my video is because I have to revisit something or I can't complete my collection. You already know the sad story that Goodwill bins have taken all the vinyl records, broken or otherwise. None. They are told to pull every single one of them. They don't want to even have people think of vinyl records at the outlet/bin store. Every once in a while, some, filter through the store, and my friends say, I found some records at the bin store and bought them. And that's great for them, but it's not good for me because I bought absolutely virtually nothing. I would go from buying 100 or 200 records per year to going to 0 records per year. Discogs is the only place I can get records very comfortably without having to go to record stores, because you go to a record store and all of a sudden you just I just spent $40 at a record store. You don't know why, you don't know how, but you just end up buying $40 worth of records when you only meant to spend $5. So it's not a viable option for me, and I could get booted out of all the vinyl record community things here. But again, it's just a lot of people just figuring out and complaining and figuring out and complaining. So I just wanted to revisit this so you can see what was going on there. As I said, the last couple of days was only that one piece of mail. It's been a long week and because of the holiday, and then I had to do some kind of impromptu speeches this morning for some school kids that were touring around the city, and I had to stop at some monument and basically talk about the monument for 10 minutes, so I did about 30 minutes there, and it was just for 3 different groups of kids. It was easy to do, but very taxing, because when you talk about historical monuments, you got to keep politics out of it. So everything I said, kids would come up with something about, whatever was going on, and I said, well, these things happen, we still need these particular things to be here and here and here and safe here and safe here. So I stayed out of politics, but it's very exhausting having to just kind of tread very carefully every word, with the watchful eye of the parents and the teachers right there making sure I don't step out of line. So and then the other people I was working with, they were very tired and drained as well too, because they had kids asking questions with family trees and stuff like that, and what if I don't have a parent, or what if I don't know my history, or what if I came from over here, what if I'm adopted or something like that. So that happens all the time. One kid kept on saying he's from Hawaii, so he has no relatives from here. A big whoop, but he can find his relatives from home, it doesn't matter. Anyway, it was just a very long day. Fun times had by all, and hopefully I will be able to, I'm just kind of awash in stuff right now, so I need to clear things out here. I say that in almost every other video, but it is really, really true. Regardless of how many things I think I'm getting rid of, more CDs come in, and I want more magazines, I want to finish off this collection, whatever, and that stuff is just pie in the sky, ain't gonna ever happen. When I'll be happy with my collections being all completed, everybody says they're completed, they're happy, they look at their collection once or twice, and then boom, they're off the next $1,000 card. That's exactly what eBay and YouTube is all about, is to get you to basically purchase more stuff and more stuff and more stuff. So that is pretty much all I have here. I don't want to get into other controversial subjects, the Lego controversy with bricks and minifigs. That's ridiculous. I just watched the video because a friend of mine told me to watch that. So all I have is free pizza for this evening, and I have some really delicious mug root beer, which I haven't had in a long time, and I plan on to just do a little bit of sorting today and take it easy. Hope everybody has a great week, and thank you for watching.